All right, let's dive right in. Everyone's been buzzing about the Barry Keoghan and Sabrina Carpenter breakup, huh?
Yeah, it's been all over the headlines.
After a year of dating, they've officially called it quits.
It seemed pretty serious for a while there. Remember their Met Gala debut? They looked so happy.
Right. A total whirlwind romance.
Yeah, but the breakup itself isn't the real story here.
You're totally right.
It's all the drama surrounding it.
Yeah, all those cheating rumors that just exploded online.
It's crazy how social media can take something like a breakup and turn it into this huge, messy public spectacle.
Totally. And to your point, all this online chaos kind of overshadows the actual breakup itself.
Right.
So let's unpack this. It all started with a Dumois post.
Oh, yeah, Dumois, the infamous gossip Instagram account, right?
Yeah, they alleged that Keoghan was seen with another woman while Carpenter was on tour.
I think it was when she was finishing her tour.
Right. Yeah, finishing up her tour. And to make matters worse, the post claimed Carpenter found months of communication between Keoghan and this other woman.
Supposedly influencer Brecky Hill.
Yeah, exactly. So instantly people were taking sides, jumping to conclusions. It was just a breeding ground for speculation and judgment. What do you think about that whole dynamic?
Well, I think it's a perfect example of how quickly things can spiral out of control on social media. You have an anonymous tip, an influencer involved, and suddenly it's like a wildfire.
And let's be real, celebrities, they kind of sign up for a certain level of public scrutiny, but this just felt different.
Oh, absolutely. It felt really invasive and just, I don't know, mean-spirited.
And I mean, we have to acknowledge that Carpenter has been putting on a brave face at recent events, but behind the scenes, I can't imagine what she's going through.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that celebrities are real people with real feelings.
Totally. And while Carpenter chose to stay silent, Keoghan didn't hold back.
Oh, right. He went off.
He deactivated his Instagram and took to X, formerly Twitter, with a powerful statement.
I read that whole thing. He was clearly fed up.
He was. He talked about the hateful messages, the constant criticism of his appearance, and people making comments about his parenting.
Ugh, the parenting comments are so out of line. Like, that's his child.
Right. And the thing that really struck me was him saying that people were showing up at his family's homes.
Yeah, that's straight up harassment. It crosses a huge line.
Exactly. And it's scary to think about the impact this has not just on him, but on his loved ones too.
It's a reminder that the effects of online harassment extend way beyond the individual target.
Yeah, he even mentioned being worried about his son reading these horrible comments online in the future.
It's heartbreaking to think about a parent having to worry about that.
So you have this very public breakup, these infidelity rumors swirling around, and then Keoghan slams the brakes on social media and calls out the toxic behavior he's been subjected to. It's a lot.
Right, and it begs the question how much of it is true.
And that's what makes this whole situation even more complicated.
Because while all of this was blowing up online, there was an insider source refuting the cheating allegations.
Saying that Keoghan was faithful the whole time.
Right. So we're left with these conflicting narratives. It's like, who do you believe?
It really highlights how difficult it is to separate truth from fiction online these days.
Especially when it comes to celebrity gossip.
Exactly. It's a constant battle between trying to stay informed and not getting swept up in all the drama.
Yeah, it's like a minefield out there.
A total minefield. But okay, amidst this whole online firestorm, Keoghan has actually been keeping busy with a thriving career.
Yeah, he's got a ton of stuff in the works. I was just reading about it the other day.
Right, and he just wrapped filming The Immortal Man for Netflix, I think.
Yeah, and he's currently filming Crime 101 for Amazon.
He's got range.
It's impressive. He's clearly not letting the negativity define him or hold him back from pursuing his craft.
And it makes you wonder, what responsibility do these platforms even have to protect people from online harassment?
It's tricky, right?
It is.
Because you have freedom of speech considerations, but then you have to balance that with the potential for real harm.
Yeah, it's a tough one for sure. And, in all of this, Keoghan also mentioned his work advocating for the foster care system.
Oh, yeah, he's been pretty vocal about that, right?
Yeah, and I think it's an important part of his story that often gets overlooked.
It definitely adds another layer to it all.
It does, because it shows a completely different side to him.
Right, like beyond all the gossip and the drama.
Exactly. He's not just an actor dealing with a messy public breakup. He's also a passionate advocate for a cause he cares about.
I think it's a good reminder that we should be careful about forming opinions based solely on what we see in the headlines.
Totally, because there's always more to the story. Right?
Always.
And speaking of more to the story, Keoghan's career is showing no signs of slowing down.
Not at all. He's
Yeah.
got a pretty impressive lineup of projects coming up.
He does. Besides the Beatles biopic, he's also starring in Bring Them Down,
And Hurry Up Tomorrow, the weekend's first feature film.
alongside Jenna Ortega. It's a big one.
Huge. And I think that one in particular has generated a lot of buzz.
Definitely.
It'll be interesting to see him working alongside The Weeknd and Jenna Ortega.
Talk about a power trio.
Seriously. And it's like he's choosing projects that are really pushing him outside of his comfort zone.
Which is awesome to see. He's not letting all the noise define him.
Or dictate his career choices.
Exactly. And it makes me think about how we as, consumers of entertainment, we get so caught up in the personal lives of celebrities.
That we sometimes forget to just appreciate their work.
Right. Like we lose sight of the talent in the craft.
It's easy to get caught up in the gossip.
It is.
Hmm.
But we should be focusing on celebrating their achievements, their creativity.
Their contributions to art and entertainment.
It's all about finding that balance,
Acknowledging the human aspect, but also appreciating their artistry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seeing them as more than just the sum of their personal drama.
Exactly. And so, back to Keoghan, it seems like he's navigating this whole thing with grace and determination.
Right.
Despite all the chaos.
He's definitely resilient.
He's using his voice to address the negativity head on. He's focused on his work. He's pursuing his passions.
It's kind of inspiring, actually.
I think so, too.
It's a reminder that even when things feel chaotic, we can still choose to focus on what truly matters. Our passions, our contributions.
And I think it also reinforces the idea that even though the internet can be this powerful force, it doesn't have to define us.
That's such an important point.
We can choose how we engage with it and how we let it affect us.
So before we wrap up, I do want to touch on the broader implications of this whole Keoghan and Carpenter situation.
Yeah, it definitely raises some important questions about social media and its impact on our culture.
It does.
I mean, it highlights the need for greater media literacy,
Critical thinking skills.
being more responsible with how we engage online.
It's not just about celebrity gossip. It's about how we consume information,
How we form opinions.
how we treat each other online.
We need to be more aware of the biases that shape our online experiences, more critical of the information we're seeing.
And way more mindful of the potential impact of our words and actions.
It's about fostering a more informed and empathetic digital culture, right?
Absolutely. It's about realizing that the internet isn't just some virtual space.
It's a reflection of our society, our values.
So as we're getting into this last part of our deep dive into the Barry Keoghan and Sabrina Carpenter situation,
What are some key takeaways you hope our listeners are walking away with?
yeah, it's like figuring out the rules of the game as we're playing,
It really is. No instruction manual for this one.
And I think a little healthy skepticism never hurts either.
Oh, for sure. Especially in the world of celebrity news. It's also sensationalized.
It is. And easy to get caught up in the drama, but
But there are real people behind those headlines, right?
totally.
Yeah.
And those people are the ones who deal with the consequences of all the rumors and judgment.
And the online harassment that seems to come with the territory these days.
Like what Keoghan was talking about,
Okay.
speaking out against all the abuse he's faced online.
It's a good reminder for all of us that words have power.
They really do.
Because even if you think you're just participating in some harmless gossip, it can have real consequences.
It's a good wake-up call for all of us to think about what we're putting out there,
Definitely. And it's not just about being kind to celebrities.
It's about treating everyone online with respect.
Creating a more empathetic online environment for everyone, because ultimately we're all just trying to figure this out together, right?
We are.
And hopefully along the way, we can learn from each other.
And make the internet a more positive place.
Exactly.
Well, this deep dive has been quite the journey. We talked about celebrity relationships, the power of social media,
The importance of critical thinking.
and online responsibility. Lots to unpack.
It's fascinating to see how these different worlds, celebrity culture and the online world, how they collide and influence each other.
Yeah, it's definitely more connected than it might seem at first glance.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with this. In this age of instant information, right, where do we draw the line between what's public and what's private?
Especially when it comes to celebrities and their families.
That's a really important question to consider.
It is, and there's no easy answer.
Not at all, but it's a conversation we all need to be having as we continue to navigate this digital world.
Because even in a world that feels increasingly public, we all deserve a certain degree of privacy and respect.
That's a great point. It's up to each of us to decide how we engage online and what kind of digital footprint we want to leave behind.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay mindful.